Good evening runners, and welcome back to another video from me, that running girl. In today's video I'm going to be making a review on the Nike Lunartempo 2, which is a lightweight but still relatively cushioned neutral running shoe. I have run in this shoe now about 5 times. Let me turn that off. Who is after me? I have run in this shoe now for about 5 times, and I've run a 10k race in the shoe, and I've run hills in the shoes, and I've run normal training runs, and I've run in the snow in these shoes too. And I will predominantly be comparing these to the Lunar Racer because, as you know, I have been running in the Nike Lunar Racer for years now, since they first came out, through all the generations of those shoes. And I really get on with that shoe because I have near flat feet, so my feet don't have any kind of arch in them at all, so I don't need any kind of support at all. And when Nike discontinued the Lunar Racer, even though they're now back on the site, I just don't trust them now that they discontinued it. So I looked for an alternative, and I looked on a site called Lunartempo.com, where you can find lots of comparable shoes and lots of similar shoes to the shoes that you already wear. And Lunartempo.com is a really good site because they not only do a really good breakdown of the shoe and all the components of the shoes, so they talk about the midfoot area and the forefoot area and heel area. So obviously, depending on what type of runner you are, whether you're a forefoot striker or whether you're a midfoot striker or whether you're a heel striker, or whether you need a lot of cushioning or whether you don't need much cushioning, you can just get all that kind of information from Lunartempo.com, and you can sort of put in, you know, I'm a neutral runner or whatever runner you are, you can put that in and it will come back with a load of recommended shoes. But you can also compare and contrast them to different brands, and it shows you the weight, and it shows you, you know, what kind of suitability they are. So for example, the Lunartempo, it would probably say it's a neutral shoe, ideal for low mileage and racing, but if you wanted something a bit, you know, heavier and a bit more supportive, it would recommend that. So I switched to the Nike Lunartempo 2 because it was the closest thing that I could find to the Nike Lunar Racer. I liked the flat profile of the shoe, and I liked the fact that it still has a Lunarlon sole. So as you can see there, it's still got the kind of step-up Lunarlon structure, and also it has the same kind of grid sole as the Lunar Racer. As you can see, my strategic placing of shoe glue to extend the life of the shoes, which I always do. And my last pair of Lunar Racers, I got 1,400 miles out of them, when realistically I think you're supposed to get 500 miles out of a pair of shoes, so I thought that was very good going. Anyway, on to the review. Like I said, I really like the flat profile of the shoe. It really appealed to me because I have almost flat feet, and it just has that fast, dynamic ride to it because of the profiling. They're quite flexible, the shoes, so I wouldn't say they're as flexible as a pair of Nike Frees, but there is definite it's got a definite malleable sole. It's not a kind of stiff, unresponsive sole. This sizing on the shoe is again relatively small because it's like nearly a racer. It's not classed as a road racing shoe. It's predominantly a training shoe, but I do think it kind of crosses that line where you could wear it as a racing shoe, because I wear Lunar Racers. I've worn them for years, and I don't feel that it feels that different to the Lunar Racer. So I take a UK 6.5 in this shoe, And in normal shoes I take a UK 6. So again, you'll need to size up half a size in this in order to have enough room in the toe box. And by having enough room in the toe box, not only does it let your feet splay out properly so that you can grip the shoe properly and just have a natural form when you're running, but it also means that the front of your toe isn't the front of your toenail isn't smacking against the front of the forefoot toe box area, because that will just lead to black toenails and no one wants those. The lacing system is quite good on the shoe, unlike the Lunar Racer where it used to have the fly wire extending out to the sides and really packed tightly around this area here, right into the base of the shoe, sole of the shoe. It just has these slightly more narrow lacing system, so there's maybe not as much lockdown on the lacing system here as the Lunar Racer, and I think you maybe feel that a little bit when you put it on. You can obviously pull the laces tighter, but it doesn't have that kind of tight lockdown feel as the Lunar Racer had. Again, a lot of the design of the shoe is using the same kind of materials as the Lunar Racer. It has this kind of fabric upper that the Lunar Racer had, and it has the breathability of the mesh fabric on the top. So obviously it feels very cool when you're running and makes your feet feel like they can breathe. What else can I say about the Lunartempo 2? One thing I will say about the Lunartempo 2 is, unlike the Lunar Racer, I had to actually take the insoles out of these shoes to be able to run comfortably in them. Now, this won't apply to everyone, but basically because I have almost flat feet, anything, even the insole, if it feels too sort of highly placed, or if inside the shoe, this inside part in the middle here, sometimes it can feel too raised. So because my foot is flat, if it then has a part in the middle of the shoe where it's raised, like there's a sort of curve in it and the shoe is almost pushing my foot out at a curve where there should be an arch but there isn't an arch, that causes a lot of pain in my non-existent arches, if that makes sense. So basically, halfway through a 10k run the other day, thankfully not in a race, I had to stop and take the insoles out and carry them home. And since I removed the insoles from these shoes, I feel it fits a lot better. And it's made me wonder whether I should actually remove the insoles from other running shoes, and whether I would actually get on even better with the Lunar Racer if I remove the insoles from those shoes. And I know a lot of people will say, oh, but if you take out the insoles from the shoes, then you'll lose valuable support and cushioning and all that. But realistically, because this shoe is quite a stripped back racing flat anyway, there's not really that much cushioning in it. So realistically, if it's going to give me a more comfortable ride, which it really has done, removing the insole, and meaning my foot can sit more naturally in the shoe and not feel kind of forced at a strange curve or a strange angle where it sort of bends in with the insole, then that's something that I'm going to do. So I recommend, if you're having an issue like that with a pair of shoes, to just remove the insole, and maybe you could do it on a treadmill run where you can just get off if you don't get on with it, or like you could do an out and back really short mileage to see how you get on with it. And I also didn't have any issues with when I removed the insole. I thought initially, oh, maybe like the stitching would rub on parts of my foot, but I haven't had any issues at all. And I don't wear technical socks or anything to run with. I just wear normal socks. So yes, give that a try. So like I said, I've run probably about 30 to 40 miles in this shoe already, and it's holding up really well, similarly to how the Lunar Racer held up. It also seems to be slightly better made in this area than the Lunar Racer used to be, because the Lunar Racer used to really split through easily there because of the thin materials used. So I'd say that it's a slightly more durable fabric on the upper, which is going to obviously add to the longevity of the shoe in the long run, literally. So yes, I would give the Lunartempo 2. If I was marking it out of 10, I would probably give it a 9. And I would only give it a 9 because I'd probably give the Lunar Racer a 10 because I just love that shoe. And I don't have to take the insoles out on those shoes, but because I had to take the insole out on this shoe to fit my foot individually, then I would give it a 9. But now that I've taken the insole out, probably bump it up to a 9.5. It's also got a good deal of cushioning in the heel area here without adding any weight, and that's something that I really like in a shoe, because I really hate having to break in shoes because you think that it's going to rip the back of your heels open the first few times you wear it. And sometimes even with the Lunar Racers, I used to have to bend this part of the shoe back and like put hot water on it and, you know, leave it between 2 books and all that kind of rubbish. But I don't have to do any kind of like prep work to this shoe to be able to actually make it work for my feet and make it work for my requirements running, other than take the insoles out. So I think in conclusion that this shoe would be really good for runners like myself, who are forefoot strikers and quite experienced and efficient runners. It's an ideal shoe for fast tempo runs and especially racing. But again, if you're an efficient runner like me and you don't get injured often, and you're looking for something fast and lightweight and responsive, I would give it a go. So I hope you enjoyed this review of the Lunartempo 2. Remember to follow me on Instagram. I still post my daily training and racing and what I eat as a high-carb vegetarian runner. And my next video is going to be another video on the psychology behind running and the meditative power of running and remaining conscious of your surroundings and your circumstances when you run. So stay tuned for that, and I hope you're all running well, and I will see you in my next video.